We go back 9 years, and she is coming, but she actually didn't do an Ignite talk at FinCon. She has once at Podcast Movement. So, you know, the conference world's a bit incestuous. We're all igniting at different conferences. But next up, please welcome my good friend Miranda Marquit, who's going to, well, you guys can read what she's going to tell us to do.
Are you afraid to say shit on the microphone? So, have you bought something that you regret? I mean, there's a good chance you have, whether it was last month or 2 years ago, or something huge that you really, really regret. It's okay, we've all been there. The real problem comes in when you feel like you get to the end of the month and you have nothing to show for it. You spent all your money and you're wondering, why do I have all of this stupid shit and nothing to show for it? If that is your problem, there's a good chance that your spending does not line up with your values. Now, this is common. We say, oh, this is important to me, this matters to me. But then when you spend your money, it doesn't match up. It's not going with what you think. So I first thought of this when I had Carl Richards on my podcast, and he said, before I put anything into my cart, I look at it and I say, that's interesting. And this was my first experience with conscious spending. And it's the idea that you think about what you're putting into your cart, what you think you're spending your money on, and really have a purpose for that money. So I decided to sit down, think about my values, and I came up with 4 questions that I ask myself before I buy anything. These are the 4 questions before I spend money on anything else. I ask these questions. And the very first question I ask right there at the top of the list is, do I need it? Now, we know the difference between needs and wants here at this conference. We know food, shelter, clothing, we have to pay the bills. If we're in debt, we have to get out of debt. We know that these are needs and we have to spend our money on these things. Sometimes, though, our needs get a little bit crazy. We turn our needs into luxuries, a big house. We think that we can live outside of a van. I mean, really, is that something we can do? But think about, do we need it? But the second question I ask myself is this helping me reach my goals? We all have things that we want our money to accomplish for us. We all think about, what do we want to have in our lives? And when you spend your money, you can help get those goals, right? I know if I put money into my IRA, I'm gonna be able to retire by a lake one day. I know if I put money into my travel fund, I'm gonna get to go on vacation, maybe with my son even. So these are things that I want to do, and my money can help me reach those goals. The third, I also ask myself, where can I put money into my business? This is something that I started asking later in life. I'm still working on it. But what can you do with your business to make that worth it? And are you spending on the right things? The next question I ask is, will it help others? So a personal value I have is I like to feel like I'm doing good in the world. I like to feel like I'm helping people. I like that warm, fuzzy feeling I get. So I ask myself, will it help others? This donation, will it help a cause or a candidate that I'm interested in for politics? Will it help feed the hungry, clothe the homeless, those kinds of things? And will it help my son have the opportunities he needs? Fencing is not a cheap sport, people. And then when I'm looking at charities, when I'm looking at volunteer organizations, I ask myself, is this money actually going to the mission? Charity Navigator is your friend if you're making donations. So that's what I ask myself. The final question I ask myself is, does it enrich my life? Buying books is not a need, but I do it anyway. Going to the symphony is not going to help me retire early, but I do it anyway. And going to the spa does not help anybody but me. Also, avocado toast and lattes are fine if one of your personal values is to spark a little bit of joy in your life. So think about that as you're going through. So if I can answer yes to any one of those questions, it just has to be one question, I will go ahead and I will spend my money on that thing. But if I answer no to all of the questions, then I don't. And I stop spending money on the stupid shit and focus on the things that matter. So now it's your turn. Think about your values. Think about what matters to you. And say, well, what questions can I ask? Come up with 3 to 5 questions that you can ask yourself before you spend money and see if they align with your values. When you do that, you'll be a little bit happier with your money. It will make you feel better. And when you start feeling better about your money, you start feeling better about your entire life and your outlook in general. Thank you.
So